Howdy from the Alaska Ferry and from Ketchikan, Alaska. That's right. We're on the Alaska Ferry. This is the ferry boat Columbia, and the Columbia sailed from Haines down to Juneau. I caught it at Juneau, and now we're came through Petersburg and Wrangell during the night. And now we're here in Ketchikan, and then Ketchikan is our last stop before the 2-day ride down to Bellingham, Washington. But let's take a look at the Columbia and see what the Alaska Ferry has to offer. So if you're bringing a vehicle onto the ferry, this is the first thing you're going to see. It's the vehicle deck. You've got the vehicle deck divided into 3 sections. Starboard, center, and port. And then depending upon what port you're going to be in, you're either going to drive in here, not in this port, but drive in over here on the ramp. And after you've parked your vehicle, they're not going to tie it down, but they're going to put chocks on it. And then you're going to come up the stairway here to the upper deck. So let's go take a look and see what the upper deck is all about. And it's nice, there's a map on each deck showing you where everything is. So on the upper deck number 5 here, you've got private cabins that go down the length of the ship. And then you've got them that go up to the front here. But what you also have up here is not only the cabins going up that way, but you have the purser's desk right here. Nice purser will tell you everything you need to know, give you everything that you need. Then more cabins down here. By the way, when we're doing the tour here, we're actually on the starboard side right now. The stern of the ship is right down there. So like I said, more cabins all the way down. So let's take a look at deck number 6. So deck number 6 is more cabins, and then you also have shower and laundry rooms. Let's go take a look and see what those look like. So here's the shower and laundry rooms. Pretty nice size. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 showers, and the water's nice and warm, and nobody's in here. I already checked. But if you don't have your own towel, you can get a towel from the purser. You can get change from the purser for the machines. If you didn't bring any soap, you can buy some at the snack bar. And then once again, the stern of the ship, more private cabins here. But then up front, in the bow, got more restrooms right here. And there's a little kids corner where kids can come out and burn off a little bit of energy. Couple more cabins up here, and then you've got what do you call this, a lounge with some tables, some nice comfortable seats. And it's when the sun is shining, it's a very nice and bright view. And when you're sitting down here, look at the nice view you have out the front to see where you're going. Ketchikan sure is a very big looking little place, isn't it? All right, so this is the lounge. Let's go take a look at some more. Oh, well, make a note of this, and I'll tell you about this in a second. So we're going to go up to deck number 7. So again, down that side you've got private cabins, berths, whatever you want to call them. So now going up to deck number 7. You can come up and then go down. And out here you've got another lounge, the forward viewing lounge. And again, if you get a front row view, front row seat, get a nice, great view, right? Look at that. It's a cold day. This is the place to be. But today's not a cold day. All right, let's take a look at the rest of it. And again, remind me to tell you about those couches in a second. All right, we're going to go down the, excuse me, going to go down the port side here. We'll go outside in a second. But here, midship, you have a snack bar. And it's typical cafeteria style. You just grab your food over here. Pay the cashier down there, and then grab a seat right here. And then you've got the menus posted right there. And of course, if you want to take some time on your little journey, you can go to each table and read all about the wildlife that you might encounter while riding the ferry or while exploring Southeast Alaska. So now we'll go back here. I don't think we're going to be able to see it right now. Let's see. There's actually a formal dining room. It's closed right now. Let's see if maybe we can sneak in. All right, we are able to sneak in. Okay, so here's the formal dining room. Pretty nice looking little place, right? Not bad for a ferry, actually. It has a great view, not only out the sides here, but to the stern of the boat. And here's the deck number 6 viewing area off the back end. Thank you very much. And then we'll go to the creme de la creme. For those who are on an adventure travel or budget travel and you don't want to pay the cost of a berth, well then come out here to the Solarium. That's right, you can come out here to the Solarium and you can pitch a tent. And no, you're not going to use stakes, but you're going to use tape. Duct tape, a lot of people prefer, but there's also that extra sticky Gorilla tape, especially if it's a lot windier. You might want to use the extra stickier tape, or at least extra sticky duct tape. Anyway, it's got a nice view out here, and it's a nice camping area. And of course, you get to meet a lot of other people that are kind of doing the nice adventure thing as well. Watch your step. And then if you don't want to pitch a tent, then if you get here on time, you get to stake out a chaise lounge right underneath the solarium and right underneath the heat lamps, so that you got a nice cozy little spot to stay at overnight. And you can just stake it out the whole trip. You don't have to keep moving your stuff. Some places are windier than others, like out here. And then some places are less windy and a little bit warmer, like in here. That's my stuff, by the way. And some places are kind of little good nooks right there. And along here you got a good view. And then the same over here on the starboard side. So now let's go take a look outside on the deck. Oh, you want to remind me of those couches. So those couches up there that we saw up there in the lounge, it's the same thing as like on the Solarium. People stake out a couch and just sleep on those things. They might be good if it's a really wet, snowy, freezing cold trip, but the couches are pretty. They aren't very long, so you can't stretch out on them if you're a normal size or tall person. So now let's go over here and take a look on the outside deck. So here it is. You've got the outside deck, and they got great views from both sides. And being here in Ketchikan Harbor, you got a nice view of the town. The ferry, when we came from Juneau, we left about 6:30, something like that. And then we stopped in Petersburg for about a half hour, somewhere around 9:30 at night. And then after Petersburg, stopped in Wrangell, so I think it was sometime around midnight. And then we got into here in Ketchikan, right about noon, thereabouts. So in Petersburg and Wrangell, you can't get off the boat. But here in Ketchikan, we've got a 3-hour stop. So that's why the boat looks empty, as most people, I think, kind of just jumped off into town. But of course, I was sacrificing and doing this video for you. And then here's the lower rear viewing deck down over here, where again you can pitch a tent. So people would pitch tents down here if it was like an overflow. And then one last thing. When you're getting onto the ferry, if you're bringing a boat, bringing a car, some sort of vehicle, motorcycle or RV, the ship will accommodate all sorts of sizes of large vehicles. But there they are queuing up right there. So what happens is when you check in at the ferry terminal, you go into the terminal and have them punch up your reservation if you got one. And you really should have a reservation, because I think this boat is actually going to be full down in Bellingham. Anyway, they'll then look up your reservation. They give you a few cards, one to tape on your lower left-hand part of your window that shows where your final destination is. And then there's 1, 2, 3 more things that they give you. When you first get on, you give 2 of those things to the worker when you're driving onto the ramp, and then you keep the third one so that when you see that right there, you keep the third one so that if you get off the boat and then you want to get back on, if you don't have this, tough luck. Your car is going to wherever it's going, and you're in town. You're sticking in town. So the Alaska Ferry, or the official name, the Alaska Marine Highway System, it's a pretty handy deal, especially for these southeast Alaska communities, which are cut off from the mainland. And they're cut off from each other for the most part. But then also the communities that are to the west of Anchorage, like Kodiak and Dutch Harbor and all those places down the Aleutian chain. Ferry is really helpful for them as well. And then also, there's normally a cross, I think they call it the Cross Bay Ferry, that actually goes from Whittier, Alaska, which is the port that you would go if you wanted to go to Anchorage. It goes from Whittier, Alaska, then down to, I think it would go to Haines or Skagway, something like that. And then from there you would come down to Juneau and Ketchikan and Washington and all that. So that's the tour of the Columbia, and that's everything I guess there needs to be, you need to know about Ferry. And how do you get on it, and can you just hop right on? If you're just a rider without a car, it's probably easier to just come right on. If you have a car, you should probably, you should get a reservation at least a couple months in advance of when you think you're going to be coming down, because like I said, I think for vehicles this ferry is full up.
I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking
on the way down to Bellingham, and so if you didn't have a reservation, then you'd be out of luck. You got to drive all the way back. And I guess the other question too then is, how much does it cost? Well, it's not cheap. So, sort of not cheap. So what I've found is that if I were to have driven back from Fairbanks, so on my trip, I took the Alaska Highway across Canada, Fairbanks, went up to Prudhoe Bay, and then down through Denali, through the western part of Denali, and then across over to Tok, and back down into Yukon and British Columbia through Haines Junction, and then down to Haines. So I got the ferry in Haines and took it from Haines down to Juneau, and then stayed a couple days in Juneau, and then took then this ferry here from Juneau and going down to Bellingham. And so the total cost of that, when I tell you it's going to sound a lot, total cost of that was about $1,800. Remember, I had a large vehicle and myself, and that's without a berth. Berth would have cost another $400. Anyway, about $1,800. However, if you calculate the cost of driving back down from Alaska to Washington, say through British Columbia, so you got all that wear and tear on your vehicle, and then you got the extra high gas prices. And the equivalent gas prices were about, if you calculate the price per liter and then take into account the higher price in Canada, It was about $6 a gallon if I were to come down. So by not having the wear and tear on your vehicle, by not having the extra high fuel cost, taking the ferry down was maybe only going to cost me, it only cost me about a net of $700 extra than if I had driven. Maybe $600 extra than if I had driven. But what is the price of the experience, right? What's the value of getting to do something unique and meet a whole bunch of people and see a whole bunch of stuff that you probably wouldn't see? So that extra $600 or $700 I figured was well worth it. All right, so that's everything you need to know about. Oh, one more thing. How do you do it? How do you make a reservation? The Alaska Ferry has a website. You don't do it on those travel websites or anything. You just go to the Alaska Ferry. You can just type in Alaska Ferry, and it'll bring you to the official Alaska Ferry website, and you just make a reservation on there, and it's really easy. So that's everything you need to know, I think, about the Alaska Ferry. If there's other questions that I should have answered, or if there's something that I totally garbled up and just confused you about, let me know in the comments, and I'll clarify that. And by the way, if you want to subscribe and you haven't, click the subscribe, and then also ring the bell. Click the bell. Oh, and on that bell, don't just do personalized, but do all notifications. Oh, and also thumbs up, right? But if this video was lousy for you, don't put a thumbs down, because it hurts my feelings. All right, that's everything you need to know about the Alaska Ferry, and I'll see you on the next video.